Happy Monday, my people. Welcome to the Karen Smith Frazier podcast. I am Karen Smith Frazier, and I help individuals who are afraid of making a transition decide to take a step in spite of fear to fulfill a dream that is in line with their life's purpose. This can be related to relationships, vocation, health, making more money, freeing up time to do what brings them joy and enough to share with others who may need a hand up. As a life coach, I have the pleasure of accompanying clients as they peel back their excuses for not going for it. Trust me, there is always a valid excuse to stay stuck a little bit longer. But at what cost? Who is not receiving the benefits of your giftings? Yes, there are life circumstances that may hold us back, the time, the money, but somehow, if our refrigerator stops working or car breaks down, we somehow figure out a way to take care of it. We make adjustments and figure it out because there's a sense of urgency. So I ask you this: who is not receiving the fruit of your gift, your talent, because you're afraid to share it? I'm not telling you to quit your job, your relationships, and responsibilities. However, as a life coach and podcaster, I am challenging you to take a step back and take a look in the mirror. Is the life you are living the one you imagine? It could be okay. You could be content, but still feel like something is missing. That's something that allows your creativity to shine. There are some folks who say you can't have it all. I dare say that if you can imagine more for your life, for your family, for your community, then there's a way to get there. We were created to create. Right now, for many of you, the desire to make adjustments to the status quo is just not urgent enough. It's not the same urgency as a busted carburetor. Instead, it's more like the slow leak in a tire. You don't notice you're losing air until the tire is almost completely flat. Now, I overcame my flat tire moment a few years ago, which should have been an easy drive to an afternoon meeting on a sunny afternoon. Went from what looked like a simple fender bender to a life-changing accident. Not from injuries, thank goodness, but from the opportunity to wake up and admit that I would never be 100% fear-free when it was time to make some changes with my life. As I sat in the car and waited for the ambulance to arrive, I also noticed that the other driver, who was at fault, never checked on me. Instead, they broke out their phone and started taking photos of the damage. I thought, wow, where's the compassion? Between that, the pain, and the airbag dust filling the car, I had a little chat with my creator. Okay, God, you got my attention. What now? The car accident that day left me with a concussion and chest injury, but also a reality check. Who am I waiting for to show me compassion, to pull me out of this stuck feeling with my job? And how much more time do I need to decide for change? But in the midst of it all that day, I was grateful that help was on the way. I was grateful for the health care I would receive. And I was grateful to use that time of healing to start another chapter in my life. Let me take a peek to see who's joining us. Thanks for coming. Good morning. It actually is possible to be in pain and have an attitude of gratitude. If anything, I think that having gratitude in the midst of a challenge is even more powerful than having gratitude for something. What if we could extend this gratitude, this attitude of gratitude to each day, each encounter? 6seconds.org reminds us that gratitude can show up in all kinds of places. Yes, it's in the thank yous we give and receive during our day. And when we count our blessings in a journal, that gratitude list is also a reminder of the good in our lives. Naming those blessings specifically and appreciating moments when we feel loved and cared for, that's gratitude. But sometimes opportunities to celebrate gratitude show up in more subtle ways that can be easily missed if we don't take a moment to notice what we're noticing. So in the rush of our daily routines and the distractions of the news, our personal challenges and those of our neighbors, we may need to steal these moments of gratitude as they show up in the midst of chaos. These moments of joy can be life changers. First, we can do that by savoring small joys. A delicious cup of coffee, tea, or hot chocolate that knocks the chill out of our bones on a chilly winter day without burning our tongues. Yes, that's gratitude. How about those moments when we notice a kindness done by a stranger to another stranger? All is not lost. People still know how to show compassion for one another. That's gratitude. Another is when we fully accept a gift. It could be a compliment or a thank you. And instead of saying, you shouldn't have, or it was nothing, simply take it in and receive the heartfelt appreciation fully. This is also gratitude. Then there are those moments when you have an encounter with someone who is distraught and no words can fix the situation, but you show up anyway with no or few words, but only a gift of being fully present. Has anyone been that presence for you? Another moment of gratitude. In the midst of lifing, taking a moment to pause to acknowledge your feelings in that moment and acknowledging the skills you have to notice what you are noticing. You know, a deep breath usually shows up in this situation. And yes, another moment of gratitude. Finally, taking a moment to look at the bigger picture when goals have been missed, mistakes have been made in spite of the work, good intentions that you've been putting in. Take those precious moments to honor your effort. That's huge. And yes, another moment of gratitude. So if this podcast reminded you of how much there is to be grateful for, then my goal was achieved. Gratitude doesn't mean that all is well, but it does attract positive energy to you. As we begin another week together, thank you for tuning in. If this podcast was of value, please let me know in the chat and also share it with someone who may need a boost. You can also do me a favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Karen Smith Frazier. And you can catch the recording of the full podcast on YouTube and Facebook. I'll try to drop a teaser in Instagram. Finally, if you are looking for a life coach or want to learn more about what I do, direct message me and I'll set aside 15 to 20 minutes on my calendar for us to connect. In the meantime, have a great week. Unleash your brilliance. Uncover your light. The world is waiting for you.